Hazard pay is back on, baby. It's in the third stimulus package. So how much can you get? How does it work? It's an earned income tax credit of $1,500 if you're 19 years or older and made less than $25,000. In this throwback video, I explain hazard pay, how you get it, and everything about essential workers. Enjoy this overnight LA video about hazard pay. As the Temple of Doom's front door slowly opens and Negative Nancy emerges, are you getting hazard pay is the question we ask her. Good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. Yes, the Empress of Doom and the Temple of Doom spoke a little bit today and yesterday, and she spoke about hazard pay. Boy, this is our afternoon's LALATE that starts every day at 3:30 with a check. Then goes to hazard pay, then FBUC, and then rent. Great news, really great news as Negative Nancy, No Numbers Nancy, Petty Pelosi, finally spoke about hazard pay. It's as though she had forgotten about it. She does forget a lot of things. Whatever his name is. That's Staffer. That's her new name for him as well. She doesn't remember Mark Meadows, which is sort of a hard name to remember, especially, if you don't remember numbers of your stimulus bill. But when it comes to hazard pay, she has not mentioned hazard pay, which made a lot of us concerned that she had forgotten about it as well. I have breaking news about hazard pay, and then I have more questions and answers, which I'm really going to go over today about why viewers are getting very, 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 very confused about hazard pay. Despite all these recordings, there's still a lot of confusion about it. So let me get right to the news. First, Nancy Pelosi did come out speaking in favor of hazard pay. Thank goodness. Hallelujah. I mean, there's not a lot of good stuff that's been coming out of that mouth in the last 24 hours, but she finally said something in favor of essential workers. She said that she has top priorities still for state, local, tribunal, and territorial governments endangering healthcare workers, first responders, and other frontline workers, in addition to teachers. Wow, finally. She doesn't use the word hazard pay, but that's certainly indicative of everything that's in the hazard pay bill, which includes both a payout and a protection for workplace. It also is sort of a dig at Mitch McConnell's liability protection bill, which no one really likes, that says, you just don't have to protect anyone in the workplace. But Mitch McConnell says the states should go bankrupt. Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, Mitch is in the next sentence, so I guess she's subliminally thinking about Mitch McConnell. When we talk about hazard pay and we talk about Mitch McConnell, there are conflicting or contradictory or competing bills that are out there. The HEROES Act and the HEALS Act do very different things when we're talking about essential workers. As you recall, the HEALS Act, introduced by the Republicans, has nothing for hazard pay, has nothing for hazard pay, but it does have something about essential workers. But the reverse, oh boy, oh my God, it just goes backwards. Yeah, it goes backwards. Not only would you not get money from the Republican proposal, and not only would you not get workplace protection if you're an essential worker, you would get a blockade and an inability to sue the employer. That's what Mitch wants in his bill, that you can't sue your employer due to a hazardous work environment, except when the employer intentionally set to cause you harm. As I always would say, that's where the employer just walks up and coughs in your face on purpose, knowing that they have COVID-19. It's just a horrible, horrible bill. No one likes it. I don't even know if Steve Mnuchin likes it. But what's very indicative about it is it's contradictory to everything about hazard pay. Now, hazard pay on the Democrat side is incredibly good. It's like Swedish Chef. It's good. It's very good. It has $10,000 if you work during the pandemic all the way up to the present. It's based upon the number of hours you work, $13 an hour. It's a lot of money. $5,000 if you made over $100,000 last year, still a lot of money. $13 an hour going up to the present, going forward if you're still not at the threshold. So when we hear Nancy say these remarks, finally, finally, exclamation point, it's reassuring that she does have hazard pay in your wishes. As I've been detailing in the last 24 hours, I'm a little bit concerned about a person I call No Numbers Nancy. She wants to talk about negotiation amounts, but she never tells the American public where that amount is coming from. It's as though she doesn't think any of us can figure out math. It's as though she thinks none of us can add and subtract. It's as though none of us care what the details are. I mean, I know, there's only a certain number of accountants in the U.S. population. I know there's only a certain number of mathematicians, but a lot of us can add and subtract, Nancy. Just a few of us. So when she said that she wants the Republicans to come up $1 trillion, is it because of hazard pay? I don't know. When she says she'll come down $1 trillion, is it because she's cutting out hazard pay? Just news to me. I don't know. So she wants to cut out $1 trillion from her side, wants the other side to add $1 trillion. What is this money going? It's coming out. What is it coming out of? It's being added. What is it being added to? And then there's the smaller steps. Like today, as I detailed on Chuck's minutes ago, she wants to move from she'll move from 2.4 to 2.2, but was it 2.3? Now she's at 2.2. Okay, what is this? You're moving $1 billion. I mean, you just lost $1 billion in the stimulus. Okay, where did you take the $1 billion out of? I mean, it wasn't a pack of fries and a side of chicken McNuggets. It was $1 billion. I mean, where did that $1 billion just come from? That's what's a little confusing as we sit here and we talk about hazard pay. You don't know if she's yanking your hazard pay out. Now, let me answer some of your Q&A questions about hazard pay that I've seen. They're just coming from everywhere. First, the most common question I'm getting about hazard pay is someone is at a job and has been offered another job and doesn't want to take the new job because they're worried they're going to lose hazard pay from the prior job and this and that and those and thems. Okay. And then they also add, so when will that prior job get my hazard pay? Okay, let's back up. First, there is no law yet for hazard pay. There is no law yet for hazard pay, so no one has approved hazard pay as a law. Second, there's no application out for hazard pay to apply for. 2. Number 3, you can't apply for hazard pay. You can't apply for hazard pay. 4, when you're asking about, should I take a new job because I had a prior job and I don't want to lose the hazard pay for the prior job? Okay, let's go through all those elements. First, the applying for hazard pay is voluntary. I've done that so many times. And I'm worried that either someone is just, they have AC/DC music in the background, they're just not listening. Or, they have earpods in also, they're just not hearing the audio, they're just watching the guy to see the purple shirts. It's like, it's voluntary. I'll say I'll mouth it. So if you're sipping your coffee and just looking at the screen, voluntary. Don't have to do it. Yeah, don't have to do it. The boss doesn't have to do it. And yet I get so many people saying, when am I going to get that money? Where can I go apply? Send me the application. You send me the application link. There is no application link. You can't apply. The boss applies. So with that understanding, what about people who say you're switching from one job to another job? Does that mean you can no longer get the hazard pay from the prior job? Which is a very good question. No, absolutely no. I've detailed that 1,000 times on this channel. If you could work 20 essential worker jobs, and all those 20 essential worker jobs can apply for you. They can all apply. They can also all not apply if they don't want to. So don't think that taking a new job prevents the ability to gain the hazard pay from the prior job. Also, don't presume that you take an essential worker job and you're going to get hazard pay either. Remember, this is totally a voluntary bill. I didn't write it. I hate the way it's phrased. It's so crazy to have something that's voluntary, but that's the way it is. You know, I'm going to give a teaser, a spoiler for the rent video coming up later. The rent video is going to talk about the CARES Act and why eviction moratoriums were in place under the CARES Act and the landlords still evicted people. Why? Because it said you may not, it actually said you may not evict people, but the landlord said, hey, I'll go do it. There's no penalty clause in this bill. I'll just go do it. When you don't have a penalty clause in a bill, it means that things can just not be done and no one has recourses if you're not doing it. In this case, in the hazard case bill, it's actually quite worse. It doesn't have a penalty provision, and it also specifically says shall or may, actually says may apply for hazard pay, the boss. And then the next provision says the boss doesn't have to apply if they don't feel like they want to. And yet someone's going to say, when can I get my hazard pay? Send me the link for the hazard pay. Not going to happen. What you need to know, though, is whether or not your boss is going to apply. I got to tell you, and I've been warning you for a while. And I'll do it right now. In the Evening's LALATE video last night, I did a special broadcast about when you would likely receive these payments when the second stimulus package is approved in September. And as to hazard pay, I said basically 2029 is when you get the hazard pay money. I just see it's going very slow. It's not, there's no time frame in the bill. It doesn't say you have to get the money within 5 days or 10 days. There's no time frame about when the employer may apply. So as you sit there, you just, when would you get the money? And could the money dissipate? Yes and yes. Here's the bad news in the video. The bad news is that it's a fund. It's a block of money. It's sitting there. If it's approved, it's sitting there and everyone's ready to get it. But some people are going to be more prepared to get it and others won't. You're going to be sitting around and hopefully you are not this person. Hopefully you're not this person sitting around saying, I worked as this, I'm an essential worker, so my boss is going to go get it. And then 3 weeks later you're like, I haven't seen that money. What happened to the money? Hey, boss, I never spoke to you about this thing, essential hazard pay. Have you ever? Is the boss like, what's hazard pay? What do you mean, what's hazard pay? It's this thing that passed. I never heard of hazard pay. Well, I talked to you once about. Well, I don't remember. So what can I do with you? Well, did you apply it? It doesn't concern me. I'm not going to apply for it. What do you mean not going to apply for the hazard pay? This is the conversation you need to be having 2 months ago. If you haven't had it, you need to have it right today. You need to know if your employer is applying for hazard pay. And that they are, you need to really ramp it up and prepare for them to get their application in right away. If you don't have an answer for the boss, or the boss is not answering you, or the boss is avoiding the subject, you have to really organize all your fellow employees to really get the boss to do it. Because if they don't do it, imagine how much money is going to be lost. You and all your buddies that work at work, all you and your girlfriends that are at that job, and you all qualify 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, all that money, none of you are going to get this hazard pay because the boss is a schmuck. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Prepare the route now. And here's more of the things that concerns me. I can't read all the comments in this channel. There's like 10,000 comments a day now. Yeah, I can't read them all, but I'm worried. I'm personally worried that I don't see comments that often from viewers that say, I had this conversation with my boss about hazard pay. I rarely see that as a comment. I most often say, where can I go get that money? I see them not involving the boss in the discussion and thinking it's them getting the money. It's going to turn out very badly. Don't go down that path because that's not the way the bill's written. The boss has to go get the money for you. So you need to start bridging that conversation. In the few occasions they say that they have spoken to the boss and the boss says, you do qualify, you don't qualify, you do this, you don't that. Again, that's really not responsive to the situation because you can download the bill. The bill is online. It's in a PDF format. Don't ask me to send you the link. It's online. Look it up, and you can download the link or watch the older videos. I do them all. I do Hazard Pay every single day where I go over who are the essential workers, who are eligible under the bill. And so you shouldn't be having a discussion with your boss whether or not you're eligible. At that point, you already know you're eligible. You should have a conversation with the boss about whether they're applying for hazard pay for you or not. If you haven't had that conversation, and we're sitting here in August, and we're just a few weeks away from hazard pay being approved, not good. Not good. I mean, you just got to get on it. You have to know that your boss is applying, how they are ready to apply, and how they're teed up and ready to do this. If they're not, or you haven't had this conversation, this is going to end very badly as soon as that bill gets passed, because I can just see thousands of people dropping comments. How can I go get that money, LA? How can I go get that money? I was this. I qualify for it. How do I get it? No. You don't apply for it. The boss has to get it for you. Now, this is the other part of it that makes it even worse. It's not a revolving door of funds. It's going to be diminishing. It's going to be diluted. It's going to be drained from as soon as the doors open. So as soon as that empress from the Temple of Doom walks out and says, "We have a deal. Here's your hazard pay." Guess what? Shamu and all the sharks and all the whales are going to come in and open their big ass mouths and going to go, and they're going to start to grab as much hazard pay as they can take it. They're going to be some of these businesses that do have the employers on book to apply, and they're going to come in and apply for 900 workers that work to their job, 1,000 workers that work at their job, 10,000 workers that work at 32 locations of their business, and suddenly the fund that was this big is going to be this big within 24 hours. This is what happened with PPP, the first round of stimulus. It was there, and it suddenly went like this in 10 seconds. And so that's what you need to understand, is that hazard pay is going to go away very quickly. It's going to diminish right away. So you need to have a conversation with your boss, have to ensure that they're applying for it, and have to ensure that they get that application in right away. Coming up next is FPUC with great news, great developments, and then rent. Then join me later this evening for Evenings at LALATE. Do me a favor, if you like this video, like the video. Videos are doing quite well. Yesterday's and your likes have really helped. The reason why likes are so important is it puts the videos higher in the rank. Last night we ranked overnight in first place. When a video gets 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, 13,000, 20,000 likes, it really helps it move up in the rank. So it's ahead of channels that do this and do this and do this that don't really tell you anything but false news. And this channel that reports the true facts should be ranked first. Also subscribe and hit the alert button so you get a video alert when a new video goes live. Have a great afternoon, and as always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.